everyone, you're welcome back to Nabawa Vibes. Now today we are going to pause from our series, The Unhealthy Craving for Wealth Amongst Our Youths, and we're going to dwell on something very interesting today because of what today is. I'm sure most of you are aware of it, that today is International Women's Day. Yes, and this year's theme is quite an interesting one with a hand motion, so it goes something like this: break the bias. Okay, so yes, I decided let us talk about bias today, okay, since that's what this theme is all about anyway. But I'm going to take it in a different way from what the general idea is. Okay, now before I go on, I would like to read something I got off the internet while I was preparing for this, under the break the bias theme, of course, and it said, imagine a gender equal world, a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, a world that's diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. Together we can forge women's equality. Collectively we can all break the bias. Okay, and that is supposed to be the idea, and we're supposed to be celebrating women's achievements, but I won't be going that route. Yes, I will try though to make sure that as you watch the video, you will see names of women who have made some wonderful achievements in life and all that. Okay, so that we maybe to get role models, or so that you can see that yes, if these women can do it, you can also do it. Okay, so I will do something like that, but I'm going to be towing a different path today. Okay, and that is I'm going to talk about bias, the bias that we women have for each other, either for ourselves as individuals or for fellow women. Okay, that is what I'm going to be dealing with. So I'm going to be talking about three different kinds of bias. The first one is workplace bias. Yes, I have, over the years, I have had to work in various places. Okay, and I've realized that the greatest opposition females have in the workplace are fellow women. Yes, that's the interesting part. I once worked in a place where from the moment I got in, the vibes I got from the most senior female colleague in that place, I knew I was going to have issues with this person. So when I started hearing things about the person and seeing the things that person was doing, I wasn't surprised. And then I realized, okay, it was her general attitude towards all the women, especially if she sees you as a threat, maybe career-wise or academically, you are par with her, she will have issues with you. If you are somewhere down there, she will not have issues with you. Okay, now these are some of the issues that we women have. Okay, you find out that in a workplace you are having issues with your job, and it's a fellow woman that is your problem, not even a man. Okay, it is a fellow woman that wants to sabotage you. It is a fellow woman that wants to give you problems simply because she's envious of you. She doesn't want you to grow. Okay, she doesn't want you to go above her. Okay, so the bias I'm talking about is today I'm talking to women. I'm not talking to the men folk. I'm not talking to any other person. I'm talking to women, fellow women. We have our own problems. Once we are able to respect ourselves, once we stop to discriminate against each other, okay, once we begin to treat each other equally, then the men folk will do the same, then others will do the same. Okay, it has to start with us. Okay, we need to stop this bias against each other. Okay, yourself and a fellow woman, a female colleague are both in the running for a particular promotion. Your fights or your competition or whatever with that person shouldn't be because she's a woman. It should be the same thing you would do if it was a man that was in that position. Okay, so please let us stop this workplace bias. If we can stand together as women to value ourselves, then the men folk will value us. Yes, I've been in a place of work to where I met some very beautiful women that we've had relationships that are lasting forever, as far as I'm concerned, because the relationship is still ongoing. Okay, so that is how it should be. We should stand up for each other and stand together rather than against each other. Okay, so let us break the workplace bias. Okay, number two, we're going to talk about emotional bias. Now this one has to do with us, personal, yourself, individuals. Okay, that's where I'm driving at with this one. I heard a story the other day of a woman who, a young lady who said she'd rather remain in her abusive, physically abusive relationship, marriage, it's actually a marriage, than go back to the slums where she grew up from. That it's going back home, it's living her life backward. You know, that got me thinking. So staying with a man because he has money, but he beats you, is forward movement, as compared to going back to where you come from to have your peace. That is, what's the problem? Emotional problem. Is that's emotional bias. Now, in this part of the world where I come from, I'm from Nigeria. In this part of the world where I come from, we have some kinds of orientation, okay? The mentality that we have grown up with, and that is that a woman, marriage is very important. A woman is reliant on her husband. Even as your parents are training you, they're telling you, maybe you do something wrong. Is that what you're going to do in your husband's house? You have to learn how to cook. My father growing up, my beloved father for that matter, will always say, you have to learn how to iron so that you can be ironing your husband's clothes. Of course, then that was what we're growing up with, so it didn't matter. No one sought to ask, does your husband not have hands to iron his own? Who will iron my own? You know, you have to cook well. You have to learn how to cook as a woman so that you can take care of your husband. You know, there's this belief that is what a woman has to offer. The other day, I was thinking the other day of a former colleague. You know, this thing really got me. We met her. It was a corporate organization. We met her. She was one of the managers. She had grew very high up the ranks, and she had enough people. Her team was very large, you know, and she was good. She was good. So amongst her teammates, she actually married someone that was her teammate, okay? She was senior to the person at work, okay? But you know what that means. We're in Nigeria. It is only at work. Even at work, she had to relinquish authority to the man. So even at the place of work, the man was kind of in charge. Several years later, after leaving that place, I was told that the lady, the company folded, more or less. So things got rough, so everybody left and all that. Things were hard for them from what I gather. The next thing I heard was that she was frying akara. Now, when I heard that, I felt like crying. I still feel like crying even till date. She was frying akara. A woman that worked in the corporate world. Now, there are a lot of things she could have done. If she were on her own, there are a lot of things she would. But I'm sure, we have this thing with, you should not grow more than your husband. There's this other one that we do. People will send message. The husband, you are earning 1 million naira and your husband is earning 300,000. Who needs to move to where, whatever, you know? And of course, people will say, the woman must leave the 1 million naira job and let her stay with her husband with the 300,000 naira job. All these are stereotypes. And guess the people who will bring that suggestion? It is mostly the women. Yes. It is mostly women. No, now you have to go and meet your husband. I don't know where we get this mentality from. Yes, I know it has to do with part of our upbringing, but these are the things I'm talking about. Emotional bias, okay? We are emotionally biased against ourselves. We believe that we need a man to survive. Without a man, we cannot make it. That is what most women think. No, I'm here to tell you that that is not true. You do not need a man to survive. You can take care of yourself. You do not need a man to be emotionally balanced. You can be emotionally balanced by, in short, let me tell you one secret. If you are not emotionally balanced before you go into marriage, before you enter a relationship, you are finished. Yes, you will never make it. You will always be dependent on that person, okay? So it is expedient that you are emotionally stable before you go into any relationship. So please, I want to advise us, break that emotional bias, okay? Finally, we're going to go to financial bias. Now, this is tied to the emotional bias, yes, because many a times women of these days, it's getting worse. It's worse because I don't understand how... the other day I saw a video on my brother's status where a young lady was being interviewed and was asked what would she want in a man, what kind of man would she want, and she was saying things like her husband has to have houses in different places, 2 in Ikoyi, 2 in Victoria, Banana Island, 2 in this, that, and she will have like 6 cars. I she was looking, I was looking at her, and the man asked her, okay, if he brings all these things, what will you bring into the marriage? And what she said, can't you see me? Can't you see my shape? See my back? I can cook. Oh God, I felt so pissed. As in, that's all you're bringing to the table? Your body, your physical body? Is the man leaving his body outside? I don't get it. Is the man leaving his body outside? His skills that he has, is he leaving it outside? I mean, the man has 2 legs, you have 2 legs. He has 2 hands, you have 2 hands. He has a brain, you have a brain. Or does he have 2 brains? Please, women, we need to break this bias, okay? That we think that it is a man that must take care of us financially. Now, there's this thing with a man is working, a woman is working, husband and wife are both working. They are both earning salaries. But it is the man that brings everything into the home. It is the man that pays for school fees. It is the man that pays rent. It is the man that does everything. What does the woman do? She keeps her money. Sometimes, I wouldn't even say she keeps her money for herself anymore, because she will also, most times, we also ask the husband for money to do hair, money to make clothes, money for transport, money to buy Maggi. I mean, I don't understand it. So what is your money for? That is why some people actually believe that some men, rather their wives are sitting at home, since the women believe that they are not supposed to contribute financially to the home. Who says that? Why do you think that that is all you are good for women? So for some women, all they believe they are to do in this life is be a wife and be a mother and be a home, taking care, someone who takes care of the home, more like a house help as far as I'm concerned. Now, what we don't understand is that we are wonderful. We're a wonderful being. We are very smart and we are very strong. I know some people will come up with that thing that is and say it's from the Bible. Apostle Paul said we are weaker vessels. Come on, stop misquoting scriptures. If you don't understand something, don't say it. Okay? That Paul said you are weaker vessels does not mean that Paul was saying that you are weak. And so you should sit down and let the husband be taking care of you and feeding you and doing everything with you while you fold your arms and demand for heaven and earth. Please, you are not weak by any standard. How can you call a woman who will carry pregnancy? Sometimes up till 9 months, the woman is heavily pregnant and she still does house chores. She still takes care of, she'll be the one to do school runs for the children. She'll still go to work. Sometimes they're even going to school. Yes, I'm not talking in the air. I have one of my very close friends. That is what she did. She has 4 children. Interestingly, if I'm not mistaken, it is only the 3rd child that she had while not in school. Because every other child, she was working, number one. She was working before she got married and schooling. So with her 1st child, with her 2nd child, she was still going to school. With the 1st and 2nd pregnancy, she was still going to school. By the 4th pregnancy, she was doing masters. Yes. And this is someone that I tell you, I kid you not, she goes to work until the day of delivery. That is when she doesn't go to work and you know that something is wrong, it's like she has gone to deliver. So if we can do that, who says you are weak? Who? How can you call that weakness? So please, I want to speak to us today, or I'm speaking to us today, women. You are not weak. Break that bias of thinking you are weak. You are not weak. That's a stereotype. You are not weak. You are very strong. You are very smart. You are intelligent. There is nothing you cannot do. So please, do not sit back and be waiting for a man to always take care of you, for a man to do everything for you. You can take care of yourself. You can do things for yourself. In short, wherever you are, you should be a part of that place. You should contribute in the home. When your husband is contributing, you should contribute. Don't sit back and think that you are a weakling. You are not a weakling, okay? So let us try as much as possible to see ourselves in this light. In our work, in our places of work, we should not see each other as threats. As women, as fellow women, we should see ourselves as allies, okay? We should work together and not against each other. Then do not think that without a man you cannot survive. Do not break that emotional bias. You are not emotionally dependent on a man. You should be able to take care of yourself. You should be able to build yourself emotionally. Your peace is more important than a man. Yes, your personal peace is more important than keeping up appearances, okay? Then as a woman, you do not need a man to take care of you. If you know you want to use expensive hair, buy it yourself. Get a job that will give you that. Stop burdening a man with such things, okay? Take care of yourself. Be able to stand on your own so that stereotyping That thing with women are nothing, women cannot take care of themselves, we can do away with it. Okay, we should be able to know and believe that in ourselves we are fulfilled, we are complete. Okay, we don't need external forces to be complete. Okay, so I want to ask all of you to join forces with me as we break the bias.